Hey guys, it's 6 Minute Sunday. We're going to start a ledge bait fishing series, and we're going to start with the Scrounger head. So before we get started in on the baits, let's talk about what 6 Minute Sunday is. 6 Minute Sunday is where I take your questions. We do this once a month. Put your questions in the comments section below, and I do a video. I pick one and do a video and answer those questions for you in next month's 6 Minute Sunday video. Now, I know a lot of you are tuning in because there's another purpose or two for the 6 Minute Sunday video, and that is the MTB giveaway. If you don't know already, we'll do that at the end of the video, and we also do some subscriber shout outs. Now, how are you eligible for a subscriber shout out? A subscriber shout out, just send me a pic with you holding your fish and your name, whatever you want to put in there, whether it be Instagram or if you've got a YouTube channel. But here's the deal. It has to be a technique that you learn from this channel. You had to have caught that fish from a technique you caught or you learn on this channel, okay? Now that all that's out of the way, let's start the clock and see if I can get all the information I want to give you about these baits in 6 minutes or less. I don't have real high hopes, I'm just going to be honest. All right, let's start that clock now. So, I got sent this question by Doug Shelton. He's actually sent it twice. And guys, that goes back to saying, just because your question doesn't get picked this time around, make sure you send it in again and again, because I will possibly get to it. Now, all that being said, again, let's get to this. We're already wasting time. So Doug's question was, please explain to me about the Scrounger head, the different types, or when you would fish a hard head or a soft lip when it comes to the Scrounger head. To get straight into his question, when it comes to bills, there's actually a wide range of bills out there. So this is the long bill. You can see they make medium bills and they make short bills. Now they make hard acrylic bills. So let's talk about the thickness first. The thickness of the bill, really for me, is going to be how fast I want to fish it. If I'm going to fish it real quick, you can actually fish it real quick and wake it. That's when I'm going to fish the hardest bill. So probably that hard acrylic bill, that's where I'm really going to fish that bill, is up shallow, because it's not going to have any flex to it. Now, as the temperature's warm, it also makes a little bit of a difference. So you want a thicker bill, a thicker plastic if it's the soft plastic, when you're fishing in warmer water. You also want a thicker plastic when you're fishing faster. So if you're throwing that thing out there and you're trucking it along at a pretty good pace, you're going to want a thicker bill that has less flex to it, less give. Now, let's talk about the length of the bill. And it kind of goes back to the same thing. A shorter bill is going to have less flex. So you're going to fish it shallower, you're going to be able to fish it faster. Medium-sized bill, you can kind of get away. That's kind of the do everything size. It's kind of like my half-ounce head when it comes to a swim bait. I can fish that from shallow to really, out to about 30 foot deep. So that medium-sized bill is going to be able to kind of be that middle of the road. You can fish it up shallow, you can fish it out a little deeper. The bill that I use when I'm fishing out there on those ledges is that tall head. Generally, when I'm fishing these on the ledge through the schools, that's when I tend to really want it to get down on the bottom, or I'll either count it down and I'm going to slow roll it. I'm going to put it on a 6-3 to 1, just the same way I fish my swim baits. I'm going to put it on a 6-3 to 1. My go-to weight on this, because anytime you put a bill or a blade on a bait, you're going to get more lift out of it. So my go-to size is going to be a 3/4, and a lot of times I'm going to throw an ounce head when I'm out there 20, 25, 30 plus feet deep. And if there's current, we're gonna adjust that size too. So you're fishing places like the Tennessee River, you're gonna absolutely want to upgrade that side. Now I'm gonna throw this bait, since I'm using a 3/4 most of the time, on a longer rod, because I'm gonna fish out on the ledges. I'm gonna wanna make as long of a cast as I can make. I'm gonna get to the other side of that school and bring it through that entire school. So I'm going minimum 7. I like the 7.3, 7.6, 8-foot rods, and they're all gonna be, most of the time, if I'm fishing a 1/2 ounce or less, I'll go with a medium heavy. But 90% of the time, even on a 1/2 ounce, I'm gonna go with that heavy, fast action. Now, as far as line, it's gonna be 15 to 20 pounds. If the water's clear, I'll back it back to 15 pounds. That's kind of my go-to, test weight. But if I'm throwing those ounce and the water's dirtier to that 1.5 ounces, I'm probably going to push that up to that 20-pound test, and I'm going to use fluorocarbon 99% of the time. So let's talk about baits, the baits that you want to put on the back of this thing. Now, because this head is going to give a nice wide head wobble, you don't want to put paddle tails on the back of this thing. One of the reasons why is because they kind of cancel each other out. You don't get the action of the head, you don't get the action of the paddle tail. Now, one thing you can do, if you've got a really wide wobbling tail, you can actually trim that tail down, cut both sides of it down to where there's very, very little of the actual paddle tail, and you'll get kind of the same action you get as these straight tails. Now, I know a lot of you guys have heard about the Jerky J's, and I think Jinko makes a version. Scottsboro Tackle makes a version. I think it's called the Trimmer Shad. This is by Producer Baits. Now, you can tell immediately one of the reasons why I like their bait is because it's very translucent. You guys know I fish super clear water a lot of the times, so that's a big deal to me. I want a good translucent bait in that clear water. The great thing about this is you can fish this in whatever water type you want, unlike a swim bait a lot of times where it's a very visual bait, which don't tell anybody, but I've caught fish 20 foot deep in 1.5 foot water clarity, or 1 foot and less water clarity on a swim bait before. So don't really believe that either. But all that being said, you're going to get a lot of vibration out of this. Some of the baits, again, the Magnum caffeine shads, the big 7 inches. If you're using the smaller, don't be afraid to go finesse with these. They make smaller versions, 1/4s, 3/8. Go small with these things and use them even out deep, especially on highly pressured waters. You're going to pick up a few more bites. If you're really going for the big bites, the 7 inches are really what you want to throw. The Magnum flukes, the big ones, those are all great baits to put on the back of these. Now, remember what I say when it comes to deep is relative. If you're fishing a small lake or a pond, and the deep section of that lake is 8, 10, 15 feet, you can use the smaller one. And what's great about that is you can actually put worms on them. The straight tail worms, believe it or not, like a stick style Cinco works great. Just dip that tail in a little bit of chartreuse so that they've got that, that little bit of tail action going, and it's unbelievable how many fish you're going to catch on this little bait doing that. Bigger worms, the mag trick worm, that sort of stuff, even on these can work very well at times. All right, Doug, I hope that answers your question on the Scrounger and the heads. Like I said, the harder head, you want to make sure you're using quicker, retrieve. The softer heads are really for slow rolling, which is what I do a lot when I'm out fishing ledge. Same with the bill length. The shorter bill is going to be for faster retrieves. The bigger bill is going to be for those slow retrieves that you're generally going to fish when you're fishing the ledges out deep. All right, like I said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. We will do the giveaway next, and After that, there will be, of course, the subscriber shout outs. So as always, guys, questions and comments in the comment section below. Make sure you're leaving those questions for the next 6 Minute Sunday. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and you guys rock. All right, guys, let's pick this month's giveaway winner. Oops. I know you guys can't see this part, but I am copying the link. We're going to go over to the comment generator. We've got it in. 155 unique comments. I did go out and clean out any duplicates of you guys. All right, let's see who won. Roy Roth, Weston Walk. There you go. All right, Roy, as always, I'll stick a comment or a reply to your comment on last week's video, letting you know to shoot me an email with your information, and I'll ship the box out to you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate all the support.